capital city that is increasingly known for its turmoil. And today is not a news report, but a cultural story about a very different Caracas, Venezuela. I would like to introduce you to the historic center, where time stands still in Bolívar Square. Amidst ancient churches, mysterious libraries, and spaces where the past has never left. Here, art, faith, and even the final resting places of the nobility are still preserved. I will take you on an experiential journey where you can feel Caracas breathing with the city's pulse through memories preserved for centuries. Follow us to see a side of Caracas that few have ever witnessed. Let's hit the road. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my exploration and discovery series. I am currently in Venezuela, in far-off South America, halfway across the world. And I'm not traveling alone. Joining me, let me introduce Nelson Urbina. Nelson is Venezuelan, and he's driving me to a very famous destination in Caracas, the capital of Venezuela. And now we are on the highway heading toward that sightseeing destination. I hope that today's program will be a helpful suggestion for you. It is certainly a remote location, but perhaps one day, if you have the chance, whether for work or study, don't forget to check out the place I'm introducing to you today. At the moment, 80 liters of gasoline costs about $40. As you know, Venezuela has one of the largest oil reserves in the world. Unlike the mountain neighborhoods that require a cable car to reach, today I continue wandering through Caracas. Today, Caracas reveals itself from above, where the main avenues run along the slopes of Mount Ávila like a long balcony, overlooking the entire valley below the capital. Beneath the steady flow of traffic, the city emerges not through rigid concrete, but through dense, interwoven patches of greenery from rows of ancient trees. The lush hillsides and the Guaire River flowing along the urban landscape. As the modern avenues gradually come to an end, Caracas leads us into its historic heart, the Centro Histórico, where Bolívar Square is located, emerging amidst structures weathered by time. Here, history isn't found in museums, but is present in every paving stone. Amidst the crowds that keep passing by despite the recent upheavals, just as this city has endured for hundreds of years. Previously, there was so much talk, why go to Venezuela? It's extremely dangerous. But he says there is no danger now. Everyone feels very safe. Right now, we are in one of the key areas of the capital, Caracas. In the early hours of January 3rd, a shocking event occurred, making the whole world turn its attention to Caracas. But today, we've chosen a different approach. No politics, just viewing the city through the lens of daily life. Traffic flows as usual, people head to work, and roadside trees cast their shadows onto the streets. This is the heart of the capital, where administrative security meets urban life. A place where life goes on, even during the most sensitive times. Now, join me for a few minutes as we explore this special area of Caracas, a city that lives amidst turmoil but never stops breathing. This is the most important historical square in Caracas, the capital of Venezuela. Many people frequently gather here to enjoy the atmosphere. The climate in Caracas is truly very pleasant. Take a look. Children are playing and frolicking with many pigeons. The symbol of peace, everyone. Bolívar Square is located in the heart of Caracas Historic District and is surrounded by the nation's most important landmarks. The most prominent is the Caracas Cathedral, the Metropolitan Cathedral, a place associated with many religious and historical events of the capital. Opposite the square is the Palacio Municipal, which is the city hall, a symbol of urban government throughout various eras. And just a few steps away is the Casa Natal del Libertador, Simon Bolivar. This is the house where the South American liberation hero, Simon Bolivar, was born, which has now become the National History Museum. Surrounding Bolívar Square are not only ancient religious and civil structures, but also the historical center of power for Venezuela. Consequently, Bolívar Square has long served as the administrative and historical heart of Caracas, a place where the past, the present, and daily life coexist within a truly unique space. Everyone, a museum staff member, told me that the ancient foundation of this area is still being preserved here. The entire floor is paved with cobblestones like these. The drainage system for rainy weather is also still intact. As you can see, there's a gutter right here. Along with all these rows of pillars, this is what remains from 1591, even to this day, and that is also the reason why they require us to walk down on these wooden walkways to protect the entire floor. Which has remained in its original state since 1591, meaning from the 16th century until now. Mr. Nelson and I entered the Caracas Diocesan Museum, located next to the ancient cathedral right on Bolívar Square. This museum was originally part of an ancient religious architectural complex, which preserves important milestones of the Catholic Church in Venezuela from the Spanish colonial era. The architecture has a distinct colonial style with very thick walls, high ceilings, and very narrow corridors. The dark window frames help keep the space cool and quiet, making it feel isolated from the bustling life of the square outside. The statues of saints, religious paintings, and antique liturgical items are not displayed ostentatiously, but in a humble manner. The wooden statues have darkened with age. Their pensive faces and downward gazes give the impression that they are deep in reflection rather than observation. This pillar and wall section date back to 1591 or 1593. As you can see, the wall was built with stone and then encased in brick. This is part of that original wall. It has been preserved to this very day. On the walls, religious paintings recount biblical stories, not just through imagery, but through the marks of time. With fine cracks and faded layers of paint, that as if history itself is breathing in every detail. And it is that very stillness that gives this place the air of a memorial space. The Diocesan Museum exists as a necessary quiet pause. 2PO remind the locals that before Caracas became a vibrant and volatile capital, it was built on a foundation of faith, patience, and time. All of these exhibits from San Pedro date back to 1784. Like these golden keys. Something as grand as this, inside the Caracas Cathedral, then it's not necessarily all made of gold. Right here, there is a symbol of a tomb. As you can see inside, there are many vaults here. One of these vault doors leads to the burial site of the wealthy aristocrats of Caracas, Venezuela, from the early 20th century. Starting from 1911. Honestly, without a description, it would be impossible to imagine. As you can see, these walls are all constructed with stone and brick on the exterior. This is where meetings for high-ranking officials in this area were held. As you can see, it is divided into sections, with the front rows reserved for 10 people. And seated behind them are the secretaries, assistants, and lower-ranking officials. This is an antique safe where all the documents and the church's most precious items are kept. This safe is very thick, measuring nearly 10 centimeters. An ancient pillar from the cathedral. A gilded wooden pillar is kept here. Over here, there is a passageway with a rather solemn and enclosed appearance. The gentleman just explained that this passageway led to a restricted area once used by the church for spiritual discipline during the colonial period. Inside the Caracas Diocesan Museum. Beyond the exhibition spaces and ancient burial grounds, there is also a small enclosed chamber. Dunce used to isolate and correct those who were considered to have acted against the church's moral code during the colonial era. The space here is quite compact, and natural light barely filters through. The stone walls are thick and carry a sense of age and stillness that is hard to put into words. According to the guide, the remains here are fragmented bones that have aged significantly over time, yet are still preserved in their original location. It stands as a silent witness to a harsh past. There are still many bones down here. There is a staircase leading down. And over here I can see, many white bones remain. This place is not meant to strike fear into people, but to remind us that faith and power once walked hand in hand, leaving deep, dark marks that are inseparable from the history of Caracas. Right next to the square is the National Assembly of Venezuela, all located right within this old town complex. We were very lucky. When we went inside, the police officers outside told me that I would have 5 minutes to film the interior. This is the office of the mayor of Caracas. As you can see, it's beautiful in here, but we only have 5 minutes. It was a special favor after I mentioned that I'm a KA. Since I'm from Vietnam, he said I have 5 minutes and agreed to let us film inside. From Bolívar Square, Mr. Nelson and I continued on to the mayor's office. This is an administrative building, yet it holds a special place in the rich history of Caracas. The moment I stepped inside, the first impression wasn't the stiffness of a government office. It felt like walking into a miniature art museum. This is a replica of the panorama of the square as it looked in 1850. The high walls are lined with portraits of past mayors, along with paintings and sculptures reflecting the city's many ups and downs. This space has witnessed hundreds of years of history. Urban governance, from the colonial era through periods of independence to modern-day Caracas. The classic architecture with high ceilings, large wooden doors, and time-worn stone floors creates a solemn yet welcoming atmosphere. Every work of art here holds more than just aesthetic value. They are historical pieces, capturing how Caracas has viewed itself throughout the ages. In a place seemingly reserved for administrative decisions, art is present, quietly yet unmistakably. Stepping inside, I can truly feel the architectural and cultural essence of the Venezuelan people showcased most vividly in this space. From its antiquity and solemnity, And ladies and gentlemen, this is the historic library of the square. Inside this building, there is also an ancient library. The space is tranquil, with dark wooden bookshelves preserving chronicles and precious publications on the history of Caracas over the centuries. This is where the city's memories are kept in writing, quietly yet more enduringly than any external upheaval. This library is associated with the name Licenciado Oscar Yanes, a renowned journalist, historian, and intellectual of Venezuela. He dedicated his life to researching, documenting, and recounting the history of Caracas with an accessible and profound writing style. The presence of the library and the name Oscar Yanes here serves as a reminder that alongside power and governance, knowledge and memory have always been the true foundation of this city. Nelson and I hope we have shared an engaging story and provided useful information about the ancient historic square of Caracas, Venezuela. We hope you've gained new insights and enjoyed our story today. Although this experience may be different from others, this is only the beginning. From here, I'll be sharing even more exciting journeys with all of you. And with that, our walk around the historic center and Bolívar Square in Caracas has come to an end, amidst the ancient buildings, museums, libraries, and the humble people we've just encountered. The history of this city has unfolded not loudly, but quietly and resiliently. Just a few days ago, in the early hours of January 3rd, Caracas once again made world news due to major upheavals. However, in today's program, right here in this very place, we still find another side of Caracas. A place where life goes on, where people still go about their days, talking and preserving the memories of their city. Leaving Bolívar Square, what lingers is not the controversy surrounding recent events. Instead, I have a very simple wish for peace, stability, and a happy life for the people of Venezuela. For ultimately, after all the ups and downs of history, what every city and every person needs is simply to live in peace on their own land.